Because you're American, only because you're Indian, only because you're white, only because you're black, only because you're male, only because you're female. No. I love you because you are an aspect of God. And the way that I relate to you is how I'm relating to God. It's not a matter of what we're hearing more and more now. Your private life and your public life and your social life and your commercial life. No, you're the same person. You're the same one acting in different arenas. So I do not love you, or you shouldn't love me, because I am an African chief, or I am an academician, or I am a spiritualist, or I'm a man, or this. They got nothing, it has nothing to do with any of those things. It's about what? It's about if you allow me, or if someone allows in your environment, helps you to see how to get out of the shackles of imprisonment. If someone helps you to be able to get your own treasure, and that person is a well-wisher. And that person is actually addressing you in real loving ways. Not the person who when you go to his house or she comes to your house, you sit down together and you smile and you poison each other. Something that is proper. If you do it, if I do it, if she does it, it will help everybody more. Not some self-invested interest or some sovereign consideration. But if it is done, if it is righteous, if it is actually for the human and the spiritual growth, then if it is done, it will help everyone more. It doesn't have to be done the exact same way, but it will have the benefit. But something that is sinful that you do, and you can monitor your own sinful activities, because we have amazing ways of rationalizing our nonsense. If the ladies want to open, I'll give you a stronger word. We have ways to rationalize ridiculousness, because it's hard to look in the mirror and see ourselves. But if that same action was done by many people, or everyone, we would immediately know and see that it is improper. So there are many things that we do now that society has made us think it's okay and it's perverted. There are many things that we do now that are unhealthy, but we justify it because we want it, and we find some way to rationalize and conceptualize on it and feel that it's okay, so that we don't have to be challenging ourselves. We don't have to challenge ourselves on that. But when we take it to a broader extent and see it within others, we'll immediately be able to see that if many people did this, it would be destructive. So we have to be much more conscious of community, much more conscious of village, much more conscious of world situations. Even now, here the statistician is telling you to act locally and think internationally. Well, think locally, think nationally, think internationally, think intergalaxy, think beyond just your immediate, because everything that we do has such a playoff effect. And every individual, within each person, there is so much prana, so much life force, so much energy, that even the prana within one person can affect the prana within the entire universe. So if somebody tells you, oh, the problems are so great, nothing can be done. If someone tells you, or you tell yourself, the mind in you, the lower self tells you that don't try to pursue a spiritual lifestyle so much. After all, what changes are you really going to make? If you accept that kind of defeatist attitude, then you are a first-class chump. You are a first-class foolish person. If you allow yourself to think that your existence, you know, the brain itself has billions of cells, one person's brain, and can contain so many billions of facts. The heart, all your organs are so intricate in so many ways that the body itself is like a universe. Within one person's body is millions of other living entities. So every time your mind tries to tell you that, you just say, well, that's all right, because I'm going to at least take care of this city inside of here. And all of those entities that by thinking righteously and by acting properly, that I have some commitment of responsibility for. And of course that extends itself, because particularly these days the forces of oppression will want us to become so unenthusiastic, and I'm going to end in about 2 minutes, so unenthusiastic that we lose our ability to do what we can do. And when so many people start thinking they can do nothing, nobody does anything. But you get a group of people who think they can do something, they pull their little resources together. And how dynamic that can be. And even if you can't do much, do what you can with quality. Because that is what is ultimately important. It is not so important that you have a congregation of 500 or 5,000 people. What is important is that you have some quality of exchange. Otherwise, it's just phantasmagoria. And as you have quality of exchange, you make a significant difference in the world. Because there are so many spiritual helpers that you see and don't see who want to assist you, but you just have to come up at least to a point to connect. But as long as you are constantly being depressed, experiencing all kind of gloom and frustration and anxiety because of being, of course, in such a precarious environment, then you will feed yourself more of that. So often it's good to have openings, new experiences, new works, new services, new challenges, so that it keeps the mind and consciousness sharp. And sometimes you have to do a little mental gymnastic with yourself and to create some novelty within your particular life. One way to do it, is last technique, is every time you go to bed, you think in terms of, take inventory of what you did the previous day. And think that the next day you are going to consciously try to improve on your quality of relationships. You're going to consciously try to improve on how you can become more of a medium to let the higher power come through you. That you're going to, that you consciously try to see what things are still remaining in you that you need to have moved so that you can be more of that loving entity. Because if you don't, you simply cheat yourself. And we're at a time now where we're taking final examinations. You see many, many things happening. You see these earthquakes and hurricanes and tornadoes and the famines all over the place. And most of you now, you're working twice as hard, and you have half the amount of money that you had even 10, 15 years ago. And many of you are in situations, especially in the governmental the departments, where next year you may lose your job. Retrenchment is taking place. So it is time now that we learn how to simplify our lives. We learn how to align ourselves with more real friends. Not those kind of friends and associates who enhance your ability to deteriorate yourself, or who encourage you to do something that is destructive to the society. Love yourself sufficiently that you are more concerned about the quality of vibrations that you allow to come in your environment. And always see everything now as an emergency. Because we are on borrowed time. It's not that you have so much time to do something. Your time is already up. We're on borrowed time. So that little bit of time we have borrowed, you want to do something at 4 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, it is already late, and you ask for 5 minutes more. So now that last 5 or 10 minutes, you are really thinking, well, I was a little bit slack before, but these last 5, 10 minutes, I am going to be intense. So see your life in terms of being on borrowed time, so that you begin to arrange your priorities in such a way that when you do go to bed at night, you feel excited, that you were tired, that you gave so much in conscious raising activities, and you feel good about yourself knowing that you made a difference, that somehow you affected someone's life, and because of that, that comes back to you. So this enthusiasm, in conclusion, is very important, and we must have an alarm go off in our minds when we find that we're becoming unenthusiastic. Because as soon as you become unenthusiastic, then you start increasing your involvements in some of the lower nature things. Isn't it? When you become unenthusiastic, Now you want to sleep 12, 14 hours a day. Sometimes people can't get out of bed for 2 days. You call them, call me back. Sometimes they can be so depressed. We all had those experiences. You can be so depressed that even though you haven't eaten in 2 days, you have no desire to eat. You can be so depressed that your favorite dress, your favorite this, your favorite that, your favorite music, your favorite song, it's there, but you have no desire to associate with it. When you find that you're unenthusiastic, your sexual agitations become magnified like anything. Just monitor these things. When you're unenthusiastic, you become so much more into defending